Zombie games have been around forever, but only a few of them actually stay with you. The kind you still think about after you turn the console off, not because of how many zombies you killed, but because of how tense, exhausting, or emotional surviving that world felt. Hey guys, I'm Sam, and today we're counting down the top 10 zombie games you must play. Games that go way beyond mindless action and actually make survival feel heavy, desperate, and personal. So let's get into it. Starting with one that changed everything, The Last of Us. This isn't about killing zombies or saving the world. It's about surviving long enough to protect someone in a world that's already fallen apart. What makes this game so powerful is the relationship between Joel and Ellie, because every encounter, every fight, every quiet moment is shaped by that bond. The infected are terrifying, sure, but the real tension comes from scarcity, from knowing you don't have enough resources and you probably won't get more. This game didn't just redefine zombie games, it redefined storytelling in games, moving into something a little more raw, Days Gone. At first glance, this looks like a standard open world zombie game, but then you meet the hordes. Not groups, not crowds, entire moving walls of infected that feel more like natural disasters than enemies. What makes Days Gone special is that constant sense of panic, planning escape routes, setting traps, and still watching everything go wrong. Deacon's story gives the game a surprisingly emotional core, balancing biker survival fantasy with loss and obsession. Few games make you feel hunted like this one does. One of the most important names in the genre, Resident Evil. Resident Evil isn't just a series, it's the foundation survival horror was built on. Tight spaces, limited inventory, puzzles under pressure, and that constant question of whether fighting is even worth it. What makes Resident Evil so effective is how it controls the rules, forcing you to think, conserve, and sometimes just run. The zombies aren't fast, but the fear comes from knowing you're trapped with them. It's tension by design, and it still works decades later. Now let's talk movement. Dying Light. 2. Stay Human. This game turns survival into motion, running, climbing, jumping across rooftops, constantly staying one step ahead of what's chasing you. What makes Dying Light 2 stand out is how your choices shape the city, changing who controls areas and how parts of the world function. Daytime feels manageable, almost safe. Nighttime is a completely different story, where every mistake feels amplified. It's not just about surviving zombies, it's about surviving your own decisions, switching the tone completely. Dead Island 2. This game leans into chaos, color, and dark humor without holding back. Set in a stylized version of Los Angeles, it embraces the absurd side of the apocalypse while delivering brutally satisfying melee combat. What makes Dead Island 2 memorable is how physical everything feels. Every swing, every hit, every enemy reaction. It's gross, it's ridiculous, and it knows exactly what it's doing. Sometimes you don't want subtle horror. Sometimes you want mayhem, one that hits different because it's VR. The Walking Dead, Saints, and Sinners. This is survival you feel in your hands. Scavenging, crafting, fighting zombies up close in a way that makes every encounter uncomfortable. What makes this game special is immersion. The weight of weapons, the panic of getting grabbed, the stress of knowing you stayed out too long. New Orleans feels oppressive and lived in, and every choice carries consequences. Once you've played this, it's hard to look at VR the same way again. For pure action fans, Zombie Army 4, Dead War. This is zombies turned into a full-blown action movie. Ridiculous weapons, over-the-top slow-motion kills, and co-op chaos that never takes itself too seriously. What makes Zombie Army 4 so fun is that it's unapologetic about what it is. Like, it's not scary, it's hype, and sometimes that's exactly what you want, built for teamwork and chaos. Back 4 Blood. This game thrives on moments where everything starts falling apart. You plan a run, build your deck, coordinate with your team, and then the game throws a wrench into everything. What makes Back 4 Blood stand out is unpredictability. The way each run feels different thanks to modifiers and corruption events. The best moments are when the team barely survives and somehow still pulls it together. Messy, loud, and stressful in the best way. If you want realism and pain, Project Zomboid. This game does not care about power fantasies. You're managing hunger, injuries, exhaustion, noise, and the long-term consequences of every mistake. What makes Project Zomboid special is how slow and unforgiving it is, because survival isn't about winning, it's about lasting. Every death feels earned, and every extra day alive feels like an achievement. It creates stories you remember because they feel personal, and ending with a modern classic, Dying Light. This is where parkour and horror collided perfectly. During the day, you explore, scavenge, and prepare. At night, the city turns hostile, faster, stronger, and far more dangerous. What makes Dying Light unforgettable is that day-night shift. where confidence turns into fear the moment the sun goes down. Few games make running feel this intense. Few games make nightfall feel like a threat. And those are the top 10 zombie games you must play, from emotional survival stories to chaotic action and brutally realistic simulations. Which one terrified you the most? Which one do you keep going back to? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe for more cinematic gaming content, and I'll see you in the next one.